Age of Titans, Rise of Kronos, and the epic fight with Zeus. Today, we will take you to the oldest and most glorious period of Greek mythology, the Age of Titans. In this epic, which is the beginning of everything, we will tell a story full of the rise of Kronos, the leader of the Titans, his war against his children and the gods, and the consequences. Let's discover this legend together. Rise of Kronos and the overthrow of Uranus. Story begins with Uranus and Gaia, the first gods born of chaos. These two figures represented the sky and the earth. Gaia gave life to many children, but Uranus, fearing their power, imprisoned his children deep underground. Gaia decided to overthrow Uranus so that he would release his children, and convinced Kronos, a Titan, to help. Brave Kronos overthrew his father Uranus with a sickle offered by his mother Gaia and became the leader of the Titans. Fear of Kronos and the prophecy. However, the power Kronos gained through the revolution would not last long. Uranus left Kronos a prophecy. Just as he was overthrown by his own son, Kronos would be overthrown by his own child. This prophecy instilled great fear in Kronos and led him to lose his children. When Kronos' wife, the goddess Rhea, offered him each child she gave birth to, Kronos disappeared one by one, fearing that the prophecy would come true. Rhea's plan. Zeus escaped. Rhea was tired of losing her children and was sad. She made a plan to save her last son, Zeus. When Zeus was born, she wrapped a stone and presented it to Kronos, and Kronos swallowed the stone without suspecting anything. In the meantime, Zeus grew up in a cave in secret and gathered his strength. Years later, Zeus returned to challenge his father. War between the Titans and the gods. Titanomachia. When Zeus grew up, he took action to make the prophecy come true. He gave Kronos a medicine to save his brothers and save the other swallowed gods. Kronos' children, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter and Hestia, formed an army against the Titans. Thus began the Titanomachia, a great war between the Titans and the gods that would last 10 years. In this war, Zeus asked for help from Gaia, in addition to the Titans, and released the Cyclops. Cyclops gave him lightning, Poseidon a trident, and Hades a helmet of invisibility. With these powerful weapons, the gods gained the upper hand over the Titans. Fall of Kronos and the triumph of the gods. Finally, the gods defeated Kronos and the other Titans. Kronos and the other rebel Titans were exiled to Tartarus, the underworld, under the watchful eye of Hades. This great victory began the rule of the Olympian gods. Zeus became the ruler of Olympus and ruled the world with his brothers. Thus, the age of the Titans ended and the age of the gods began. The fall of Kronos and the victory of the gods may seem like a power struggle on the surface, but it carries deep meaning. Let's consider how power changed hands and the consequences of defying fate with the victory of the gods over the Titans. Consequences of Kronos' fear. Kronos decided to lose his children because he was afraid of the prophecy coming true. However, this behavior actually caused him to fulfill the prophecy with his own hands. This tells how even people and gods can lead to great consequences when they succumb to their fears. Trying to escape fate can sometimes make fate stronger. This epic sends a strong message that humanity can become victims of its own fears. Loyalty and betrayal within the family. Kronos seized power by overthrowing his father Uranus. However, the same situation was repeated with his betrayal of his children. This cycle actually points to how betrayals and disloyalty within the family can turn into a continuous cycle. What happened to Kronos was a reflection of his previous behavior. This cycle is common in Greek mythology and symbolizes the strength of family ties. Changing nature of power. Titanomachia is a great epic that tells how the balance of power can constantly change. While the Titans were considered the most powerful beings, the gods rose after them and the Titans fell. This shows that the powers in the universe are never constant and can change at any moment. The story reminds the audience that there is always change in their lives and that no power lasts forever. Zeus' justice and management of power. Zeus became the leader of the gods by adopting a different management approach than his father Kronos. Unlike Kronos, Zeus distributed power to his brothers and shared the work of ruling the world. This teaches an important lesson that power can last longer when distributed more fairly. Although Zeus was the leader of the gods, he showed respect for the other gods and included them in the rule. This sense of justice also carries an important message for leaders in human history. Symbolic representation of characters in the epic. Each character represents a value or a human emotion. For example, Kronos represents fear and ambition, while Gaia represents a protective mother figure. Zeus represents justice and power. These mythological figures are actually reflections of human emotions and characteristics. The epic shows the audience how to cope with these emotions in their own lives and where ambition or fear can lead them. Connection between nature, God, and human. Greek mythology examines the relationship between nature and gods in depth. While the Titans are seen as representations of natural events and forces, gods are closer to human characteristics. This symbolizes the submission of natural forces to mankind and the period when human figures began to dominate nature. The children of Gaia and the power of Uranus describe mankind's relationship with nature and his quest to achieve his own power through this relationship. Ideal order of Olympus. After the fall of the Titans, Olympus began to be governed like an orderly kingdom. The gods had their own duties and responsibilities, and they took on these responsibilities fairly. This order shows how important order is within society, even in the mythological world. Olympus actually represents a kind of ideal social order. The areas of responsibility of the gods remind us of the roles of human beings in nature and emphasize that everyone must play a role for the continuity of order. Temporality of worldly powers. Finally, the fall of the Titans and the rise of the gods is a universal theme that reminds us that everything is temporary. No matter how powerful you are, power passes from hand to hand. The story of Kronos tells us that not only the Titans, but all living things will one day be overthrown and replaced by others. This epic reminds us that power is only a tool and that ultimately everything is temporary. Age of Kronos and the Titans is not just a war between the gods and the Titans, but a story that contains deep lessons about humanity facing its fears, the importance of family loyalty, fair governance, and the bond established with nature. The power that the Olympian gods gain from this struggle also symbolizes that people need to learn these lessons. You can support the channel by subscribing. See you in the next mythology.